Hi guys, it's Dave Bennett. It is December 18th. It's 1 week to Christmas. I can't believe it. So anyway, this is a big update. Let me go ahead and try to wade through this. First of all, we have a function improvement that I want to make sure everyone knows about. You guys who are website owners or want to be, you'll love this. A lot of guys who get positions, especially shared ones, aren't really sure which industry to go with or which state to go with, so they ask us to choose for them. Okay, well, we have a lot of places in the system where we start to learn, hey, there's activity here in distressed homes and people want to move over there. Hey, there's activity here in pest control and some people want to move over there. Garage doors, so on and so forth. And things we're learning, of course, are like, hey, robocalls is pretty easy to get garage door guys. You know, it's pretty easy to get pest control guys. Distressed homes, we all know how to reach the representatives, only the main companies who don't want us, just the reps do. Haven't figured out how to do that. So you might think as you're moving along that you want to switch a position you have, right? And the question is, and I've had somebody say, hey, can I swap this position for this other one? So we just built that in to make it work for you now. Here's how it works. Say you got a couple of shared holdings, okay? Maybe you got them in garage door. Maybe you were focusing on garage door. Now maybe you want to diversify. You see that we have some other websites that are open and available, and you're saying, how can I get something that works for me? Let me show you. Whatever tier you bought in at, tier 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, there are 5 tiers in the system right now. Every time somebody breaks open a new industry, it starts at a tier 1, okay? And then extra websites become 2, 3, 4, and 5. By the way, before I forget, the backlinking network is almost complete again. We've gotten through very many of the websites. We're just finishing up. In another day or two, it will be totally complete. As Google starts to index that again, then the rank's going to start to rise organically for all these websites that we have, and that's awesome for organic results. About time. That's one of the updates. So this one here is this. Say you have one of these and you wanted to swap it. You're like, okay, you know, I want to keep the Wisconsin. Maybe I want to swap the Delaware or the other way around. Who knows? And you say, let me just take one of these and swap it. Well, here are the rules. It's got to be shared. When you swap, you have to swap for something in the same tier, which is just shown to you. You don't have to think about it. It's just shown to you. There cannot be any active jobs or live campaigns on your holding. Okay, if there are active jobs and live campaigns, especially by the time the active jobs become live campaigns, you're earning 20% off the live campaigns. Okay, so if this stuff is happening, you wouldn't want to swap it out. You're giving away something that's moving in the direction you want. Okay, so if you do want to get a website, in order for this to appear, these things have to happen. Needs to be shared, needs to have no active jobs or campaigns, and there has to be something available on the same tier. So let's click this and see what this looks like. By the way, it says release. What this means is I'm going to release this back into the market to swap it for another holding I'm interested in. Okay, so if you do it, okay, it's a tier 3 position. Okay, that's the URL. Okay, believe it or not, I can't type anything here. Whenever it shows a red line down below, okay, you can't change anything there. It's fixed, right? But let's say I want to swap this tier 3 position that I have. This is the one, it's a tier 3, for something new. What other tier 3 options are available to me? Click this. Everything you see here, any of these states in that or a different industry, like local car towing, okay, you can browse and see what you want to swap to. What do you think these are? These are available positions that you could get off of the LPE website's page if you went there and bought one of those positions, or 2 or 3. So they are available, but because you already bought a position, you can trade it for another one in the same industry or a different industry. Okay, whatever's available at a tier 3. Even if it's the same industry, but you like a different website better for the same state. Okay, if you wanted to, you can make that swap. So all of this is flexible because we're growing as a group. So as group owners, you have the elbow room to move around in the system wherever the winds can take you and wherever you want to go of equal value, in other words, equal tier level, okay? But you can move in and out of states and industries how you wish, okay? So as we continue to grow and talk about the different industries, and we have feedback for you on the industries we've been doing now, okay? And I'll get to that. Then you can actually make decisions about where you want to migrate in the system. As long as nothing's happened on your shares yet, okay? Then you can migrate to something else, wherever the activity is flocking, right? Because of latest information. All right, that's the biggest thing I want to point out for the average guy. Now, here we go. One thing I want to point out also, for those of you who want to sign up and get positions, okay, because it's the last week before Christmas, everything got knocked down 50%. This is going to be through January 2nd, okay? Everything that's shared, right? Not dedicated sites are already underpriced compared to shared positions for sure, all right? And they are. But anyway, if you say, okay, that's dedicated, but what about shared? Just sort by payment, okay? Everything that's, I mean, you can get positions as low as $100. Now, real quick, for those who are curious, I mean, look at this. This is New York for garage door. Why wouldn't you want to get that? Heck, Ohio for garage door. Why wouldn't you want to get that? At $100 for the whole state in that industry, why wouldn't you want to get that? So these are totally awesome and you can pick them up, okay? And again, don't be too afraid of getting them because you can always swap them later for anything else that comes available. Speaking of something that came available, check this out. Pool, okay, whoops, P-P-O-O-L. We now have a new industry, brand new industry, okay? Pool parts installation. It is a tier 1. We have states that have come open. As a matter of fact, I got to get rid of this one. This one's not available. Okay, keep it in mind, this one's not available. If you get it, we're going to have to force you to switch another position, but I will take care of that. What's the point? It's a tier 1. Normally it would be 800, but it's 400 right now. Okay, you're going to want to get this because there are going to be other pool parts guys coming in. Special word of note for why you would want to get this. People who own the assets 20% get 20%. The guy who kicked this off, all right, this is for a website for Pentair pool products, okay? The guy who kicked this thing off knows many of the resellers across the nation. He's going to reach out to them. So we don't need cold calling, most likely, in this particular industry, all right? But the biggest thing that's interesting about this, he knows the guys who are there, but many of them are going to want other people to run their AdWords because they really don't know what they're doing, okay? Across the nation. So there are nationwide Pentair pool products for sale. And all these Pentair products, okay, that's a very niche market. That means that the company Pentair sells the pool parts, but they don't have people around the nation who do installation. So they work with installers around the nation. So somebody who has a really nice pool wants good Pentair pool parts. They usually go to Google and search for Pentair keywords, okay? And then when they do, they're going to find somebody in the area, and Google's going to show a lot of pool parts stuff, so they need to notice the Pentair guys. And then when they go to select one, right, Pentair's saying, this is the guy for you, that kind of thing. All right, so it's a really big deal. They are going to be very interested in getting help. Now, these guys make pretty good money on their sales, all right, because, you know, this is a top-of-the-line pool parts system. So there's cash in this, and that's really cool. Those of you who haven't thought about it before, you should consider getting it. Just remember that pool parts installer for California is already taken. Matter of fact, let me pause this and make that correction. Okay, I'm back. Refresh the page. Corrections made. There we go. Now everything else is totally open and available. And yeah, you should get into this. Okay, let me get into where we're at because I've just got this huge list. I'm going to walk through this list. Okay, we have some winter campaigns and we have some near to winter campaigns. No industries that we've touched are bad, but we haven't gotten to all the industries yet. We haven't gotten to towing or orthodontists, and I'm going to explain why soon. Okay, so what we do have, I can tell you this much now. We could probably carry everyone nationwide, just all the guys in the system now who've put money into us now. We can probably carry all of you with distressed homes, pest control. We are really, really close on garage door repair, and I'll give you some more notes about that later. What we have to do with garage door repair is, well, I'll just go ahead and explain it later because otherwise you might not get it. Let me do this in order. And then lawyer DUI. We find that lawyer DUI is probably totally awesome, except that that has a real high barrier to entry cash-wise. You really have to walk in hard with that particular campaign. Those guys are really competitive. All right. And then the cool thing about the Pentair pool parts is that they're niche. Whoever's getting into that, the AdWords, it's going to be niche keywords, right? People are looking for Pentair, and there are not too many competitors in any one area. And even the ones that are there, they kind of have lousy websites, so they don't really know what they're doing. So we can carry all of you guys probably with the campaigns that we do have. But we still have a little bit more to do to make nearly all these campaigns totally profitable, okay? And I will go through that list with you now. Because of that, we paused the campaigns to review the current results and see what changes to make. And we did that. We've already learned from all that, and so we are making those changes. Then we'll relaunch afterward. And yeah, it's probably going to be after the holidays because it's so close to the holidays, it doesn't make sense to launch right now. Here are the things that we found were still in our way, okay? Some of the industries are not available for robocalls, okay? Towing. We looked through Reference USA for towing companies. We just found like 130 nationwide, or 316 nationwide. We thought, what the heck? And that's including the biggest ones. We just thought, I don't get it. So towing was odd. We thought, well, roadside assistance. We looked that up. We found more results, but no, not many. We just couldn't figure that out. It was weird. So we said, okay, you know what? For towing, we're going to have to get humans on those calls, which is something I'm going to get to in these notes. All right. Then also orthodontists, because we have a lot of orthodontist phone numbers, like 16,500 orthodontists to contact. But when we've been trying to reach them by text message, even though a bunch are getting delivered, they're not responding. And that kind of makes sense because orthodontists don't usually carry around cell phones. So we said, all right, we're going to use humans for calling orthodontists as well. Okay. And we have a program for that. I'm going to explain that in a minute. Well, actually, I'm going to explain right now. Okay, great. So we're training cold callers to call them live, and we have reached out and found that call centers, calling centers, these guys that have cold callers that are practiced at it, absolutely are looking for campaigns that make sense for them to run. So we talked to a couple of them, and we started with one and said, hey, what do you think of this? And they say, you know what, that's pretty interesting. Let's try a couple of runs. And they tried a couple of calls. We got 3 towing leads pretty quickly. And they said, you know what, this makes sense to us. What do we need to do this right? And we said, okay. So here's where we are now after a handful of days. We have 4 guys assigned to us who will call from Tuesday to Thursday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern. Okay. And by their second week of practice, they're probably going to be able to land about 50 leads a week. How do we know? Because it takes like an hour max for any one guy to land a lead, a guy who can come to our form and fill it out and do the right thing. Okay. That's because the offer is so easy to sell, right? And so when you have 4 guys working for 4 hours times 3 days is 4 times 4 is 16 times 3, you know, you got like 48 hours. Getting around 50 leads a week should be pretty easy after just a bit of practice, okay? Now, at that rate, we can cover all your guys' remaining orders anyway that we have for cold caller orders. So we're going to take care of you. We're going to finish off. We've got some more towing leads we're going to finish off for those of you who've ordered towing. And then we're going to concentrate on a stack of orthodontist leads. And we're going to catch that up. So for those of you waiting for orthodontist leads, and I know who you are, then we're going to get that caught up. Okay, and then once we do, we're in the clear. All right, we're going to be able to move quick. All right, so what else? What else have we learned? We learned this. Some keywords are like competitor terms. I didn't get it before, but I get it now. For a long time, I literally didn't trust Google. And I even wanted to know where the form was to turn in fraudulent links so that we could say, hey, or fraudulent clicks and say, hey, these clicks are no good. They're bad clicks. We should be refunded for them. And Google's got the form down to just submitting one at a time. It's like, and it takes like 4 minutes to explain your point. You can't mass upload like you could some years back, like a decade ago for sure. You could sort of mass upload stacks of clicks that you thought were bad with explanations. Now you can't. The form's one at a time. And I was thinking, man, they're so cruel. That's unfair because I can't believe that. Because we're always hearing how calls come through and it's always somebody going, oh, I'm sorry, wrong number. I thought I was calling this other company. And sometimes it just exactly seems like a competitor. And you think, how in the world can that possibly happen? Right? Well, I thought the same thing, right? I've never been a friend of Google AdWords in terms of growing up in the era where 60% of clicks are fraudulent. But lately, everybody's been telling me that's no longer really true. They've really tightened that up. And I'm like, okay, well, explain this to me. We started to finally figure it out. And because we figured it out from our last runs, we've been able to really understand what we're doing about that. Here's how that happens. When you go and you get a lot of the keywords, right? You do keyword research. What keywords apply to these industries? Okay, what keywords are people looking up? Then a lot of those keywords, they tend to be like competitor names. Okay, and you might not notice it because it could be something basic. It could be like able, garage door repair. You might be like, okay, that seems pretty neutral. Well, maybe. In a lot of the country, that may just be some kind of a keyword phrase that people are thinking to type. But then in some places or certain cities, maybe there is an able garage door repair. And if those guys don't do their job right, then people sometimes are saying, hey, the garage door is squeaking again right after these guys installed it. I'm going to call them back. What was their phone number? And so they do a search for able garage door repair. And our ad might come up because it uses dynamic insertion keywords. So we are intentionally trying to match what they're searching for generally with our good ad, okay, which was a really good idea. But in some cases, we find that some people are calling the company back because they're saying, hey, I need you back out here again because I already paid you and I need you to finish this job. Same thing with pest control. We found that in some places, people would call the same company back going, hey, we need you back out because you sprayed the ants 2 weeks ago. Now they're back 2 weeks later. We need you back out to fix it. And they think they're calling the same company. And I didn't see for a long time how that could be, that people were misdialing until I did it myself. I was at the store and I thought, I got a question I need to ask Call Tracking Metrics about their API. And I lifted my phone, did talk to text, said to Google, Call Tracking Metrics. It wrote it and showed me. The first thing I saw was Call Tracking Metrics, and here's the phone number. And I just went on the phone number. And do you know what? I got Infusionsoft. And I was like, hello? Infusionsoft, wait a minute. You're kind of like Call Tracking Metrics, but you're sort of a competitor. Are you working with Call Tracking Metrics? And they said, why, no, we're not really. I guess you misstyled. I'm like, weird. I went back and I looked closer. They didn't, the ad I clicked on, it was an ad. When I clicked on it, it said Call Tracking Metrics, 3 words. Well, Call Tracking Metrics is one word for the company name, but it looks the same on an ad. So their ad was dynamically inserting the name of a competitor, okay, for their ad because what do you think? They were thinking, well, if you're going to call the competitor, why don't we just answer and talk you into our system? Except that's what the guy asked me. He's like, are you open to the stuff that we have available? And I'm like, no, I'm a customer of Call Tracking Metrics. I actually need to reach them. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead and go back. And I thought, yeah. So I started to put it together. So what people are doing when they're clicking the wrong ad is they're doing a search for the company that they're looking for. Superior Pest Control. Sounds like a keyword, right? Unless there's a company called Superior Pest Control. And then when they click the link to call, what's the job of the guy on the other end of the phone? To say, hi, sorry, we're not Superior, but what is your problem? We can help you with that perhaps, what is the issue, and they should be trying to pull that business in. Well, that leads me to the next point. So one point was this: competitor keywords is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it can improve your sales. On the other hand, it can pull away. When you choose to use them, when you choose not to use them. You choose to use them generally because most people don't really care who they reach as long as they get through to the right guy and that guy says, yes, we can do your thing. Okay? They started by just finding some name or something. But you do care if in some city, a company keeps getting called by the same company, or people call and think there's someone they're not. So if there's Pinnacle Garage Door Repair, and somebody thinks they're calling, I don't know what, top quality, quality garage door repair. Is this quality garage door repair? And Pinnacle saying, no, I'm sorry, this is Pinnacle. And they go, well, we need to get a hold of quality garage door repair. It's like, okay, sorry, you dialed the wrong number. Then that's a double-edged sword. So what we want to do is not have that happen. What we decided, and part of the reason that we paused all the campaigns, was to walk back through, and after doing some research on the hits we got, take out those, but also take out a bunch of competitor keywords, specifically from dynamic insertion. That way, our keywords are what we want them to be, but we're not allowing to Google to put in a direct competitor name. Okay, that's for safety for everybody. Okay, what that does is lower the number of misclicks, clicks where somebody goes wrong number that we were charged for, right? That lowers that so that campaigns that were nearly profitable become profitable. Okay. Now that you understand that, let me go through some more. Okay. Some of the leads are simply not professional. We never thought that. We'd send off for robocalls, people would sign up, we start hooking them up with ads. I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? The whole thing makes sense. Here's what we found some people were doing. They'll be sitting in their truck, pest control guy maybe, and he'll answer the phone and go, hello. And the other person will say, hello, 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 hello. And you're like, what in the world? It's like, can you hear me? After the fourth time, and you're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Same thing with garage door. We had garage door repair guys that were answering the phone, basically just saying, hello. And that's it. It was like, why are you doing that? So we realized some of our package in a case like that, we started talking about it and saying, well, what do? We have to contact guys like that as quick as that happens and say what? Hi there. Industry studies show that you shouldn't say hello. Since we're covering your campaigns, we've been listening. You're losing some guys because they're finding you unprofessional, or they don't think that you're a company. They think they missed out. Industry shows that, studies show that if you answer by saying something like, hi, this is Robert from Superior Garage Door Repair, instead of hello, you'll get more sales and you'll make more money. And so we realized that's something we actually have to do. People are screwing that one up. I'll tell you another one that's simple, or that would strike you as simple, that we were surprised to catch. A call would come into the front desk. Hi, is this Able Pest Control? And the guy on the other end would say, no, I'm sorry. And you're thinking, what? Are you done talking? The guy would just let her go. Well, okay, I'm trying to reach Able Pest Control. He's like, well, okay, this is Bob's Pest Control. And by then she's saying, okay, and she's almost confused, and she's probably going to go, and sometimes she will go. And we just thought, how in the world does a guy who answers the phone not try to convert that into a sale? Then the best we can figure in cases like that is the fellow sitting at the desk is getting paid very little just to answer the phone. The boss is paying him very little to answer the phone. He's not monitoring his calls. The guy really doesn't want to do the work. And so he's basically kind of hoping she would go away anyway. And it's like, gosh, that's amazing, right? I'll give you another version of that. Somebody who signed up as a DUI lawyer. The call came in. I thought, ooh, expensive call, and then I went and I listened in. Hi, I got a DUI. I need to talk to somebody. And I'm like, oh, that's good, because in the call logs, it was like 2.5 minutes. And I thought, oh, this is going to be a good lead. Lady goes, oh, I'm sorry, we don't do DUI here. We just do personal injury in the event that you got hit by a drunk driver. And I thought, what? Totally blew my mind. And then the guy goes, oh, okay. And the lady goes, but we can recommend somebody to you. And I thought, oh, come on. And the guy goes, okay, is the person in my area? And she said, well, I don't know if he's in your area, though. And she stopped. She waited for him to answer. And all I could think was, what are you doing? What are you doing? Couldn't believe it at all. So went back and looked at the records. They did sign up as DUI. They didn't know really what the process was enough to, they didn't know how much it would cost us. They didn't know, whether they might like it. They just signed up. So we thought, you're kidding. So here's what we did, what we're doing about that. Okay. Um, we are vetting every lead now. So when a lead signs up, we've got a 3-part vetting routine for that. The first thing is this: the person who calls is going to listen to the way they react. If they answer the phone and say, hello, then they're all told, just say, oh, I'm sorry, wrong number, and hang up. Literally, let it go. Okay. If 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 they sound pretty reasonable to the cold caller who does the calling, or if they sign up, then what's the next step? That our form itself on the front page starts to ask more leading questions. How many leads are you looking for per day? How many leads do you need from us per day? It's very, very important to figure out, because if they just need a top off, they don't want to pay a lot for profit for just a top off. Okay, maybe they have most of the leads per day that they need, but they just need like one more. Okay, then they don't really want to pay pretty good money for that. They just sort of figure they can buy it in a batch of something that they already have. But if they're pretty much starving and they really need us to fill their day with orders to take care of everything for them, okay, then they are definitely willing to pay a lot more profit, because they don't have a solution. They need us to be the solution. Now, you might say, how many businesses is that? I'd say half. Half of the garage door repair guys out there are getting 100% of the business, or 98. The other half don't know how to do it, and they just are anxious all the time trying to pay their bills. I'd say half of the pest control guys sitting there in their trucks waiting for a call know what they're doing. The other half don't. And that's it basically for every industry. I've run into lawyers who are just running left and right, trying to find the next deal and calling in a hurry because they're going to miss it if they don't. So that's pretty common. So we decided we're going to have 3 parts to that. One, cold callers are trained on what to have a conversation, make sure the person on the other end understands what's going on clearly. Don't talk them into it. They should be able to meet you halfway. The conversation should be coherent and natural and professional and normal. And it should not go to, if they call and get voicemail, hang up, right? If they call and get a big dashboard somewhere like a dispatch station, hang up. Okay, so they know that, right? And if the guy just says hello, say, oh, I'm sorry, wrong number, and hang up. So between getting rid of that, or keywords for competitors, okay, don't allow that to dynamically insert. We don't get the wrong clicks. By making sure that all the people who sign up are professional, there we go. By making sure the people who sign up, the ones who say, well, I need a lot of leads, I can handle 10 a day, I need like 9 a day. Oh, okay. We're more interested in discussing that with them than we are somebody goes, well, I can handle 10 a day, I need 1 a day. It's like, okay, we'll get to you later. We're not telling them, but that's how we're going to treat it in the back end of the system. So we are making sure to qualify as people walk in the door. Another one is to ask them how much they're willing to pay per lead. That's something we're adding as well, just so that we can work with the guys who are realistic about that. If a guy just needs 1 top-off lead a day, he's not willing to pay as much. But the guy who needs a lot is willing to pay more. We explain that, right? So if you're willing to pay more, or if you really need a big program to cover your whole day and you're willing to pay more, we'll definitely take care of you. They'll be willing to pay more, and we'll take care of them. Okay, what's the next thing? The next thing is that our cold caller or someone he assigns will actually call each lead back, independent of the process. Second whole, well, you could say third party check. What that means is someone will call back through the number to make sure it's professional, and somebody will call the contact person to just verify that they understand everything and that they do this, don't do that. This is their best hook. That is their correct phone number. Okay, so whenever we call the phone number on their ad, we just say, oh, hi, we're a marketing department. We're just verifying that your phone number is working correctly, that this is the correct number. That's good. And so that's our excuse. But what we're really doing is listening to the way they answer the phone when they think it's a lead. Okay, so by doing all of that, we really eliminate those things that made a lot of the campaigns borderline, because a lot of the campaigns were borderline. Okay, and we said, all right, how do we make them no longer borderline but profitable? And that was our biggest thing to do. All right, So what else do I want to cover because there's so many things. Oh yeah, we checked with Google to make sure we can do shared call only campaigns without any questions, right? For the businesses who do need to pay less per lead. By the way, that's the final profitable piece for us to consider. Aside from sending exclusive leads to a guy who's willing to pay exclusively, we can do the leads that go to 5 different guys and they can call back. As long as we let people know in the ad or on the call that that's what they have to expect and they have a way to opt out of that, or it's in the ad, that's what's to expect, then it's totally fine. Google said there is no problem with that at all. As long as people realize what's going on, it's totally no problem. And we don't have any problem making that clear to people. So that's no issue for us. This is gold. It's gold because you make more money on the share campaigns. And besides, when we put out the robocalls, here's the issue we have now. If 2 guys sign up in one area, first guy we get to work with, the second guy has to go on a waiting list if he's in the same industry in the same area, because we can't compete them, right? But if we can do share campaigns, for a bunch of guys who want to pay on a shared program, we actually make more money with every call by far. Not only because it adds up to more, I'll give you the idea. Pest control guy might pay at the most $50 a lead by himself. But if we've got 5 guys paying $15 a lead, that's 75. And not only that, but that's 75 for more total leads, okay? Because they're going to pay 15 whether they even got to talk to the guy or not, okay? So they're just paying the 15 to be part of it and be able to pick up, and they will get some of the calls. Like this guy might get the first call and then he's busy. When the next call comes in, then he's busy. When the next call comes in, tends to be that way. It's kind of going to flip around, but that's the idea. And so guys who want to do that, I'll do that. For the guys who say, I'm missing too many of these, the answer is get on exclusive calls with us. It's $50 a call, but they only go to you. And so a lot of guys are going to step up to that if they feel like that's a better idea. It's an easier way to work with 2 groups, okay? So by making those changes, most campaigns are going to be naturally profitable from the beginning. Except, and the last thing that I need to make sure you guys understand too is part of the growth curve. Starting any new campaign is kind of expensive anyway, because we have to dial up from the bottom. We can't just afford to go in heavy because then the costs can be huge, and we can't afford to do that without making sure we're dialed in. So we have to climb up from the bottom. Well, as you go pushing up from the bottom, your ads start to show up from the bottom of the page, and they slowly climb up the page higher and higher and higher. And again, this is on a mobile phone. So a guy does a search on a mobile phone, they don't even scroll down. They're staring at positions 1 or 2, and that's it. They're going to click one of them, and they're done. They aren't going to go down the page most of the time. So if you're down the page, you're getting impressions, because every time someone does a search, if you're down there, that counts as an impression. But obviously, it won't be a click. The more impressions you rack up before you get a click, okay, then the more expensive Google makes the ad in the beginning. So it always happens that way. Everyone always has that go on. So the people who don't are the ones who try to start way up here, and then the first couple of calls might be off, and all of a sudden they ate up their budget and they go, whoa, and they don't know what happened other than they screwed it up. If you start down here, you have a hump that you go over, and after your hump, calls keep getting cheaper. Why? Because you had to figure out what it took to get to the top on your way up, and then what? As you finally nail into the first couple clicks, which is probably in the second position, not the first, then you can make sure it makes sense, like hopefully every other call. Basically, every campaign we've touched, every other call is good after we got it dialed in, which only took a few calls to make happen. So then what? Then your next 1,000 impressions, you're going to get a lot more clicks because you're here for every 1,000 or all of the impressions instead of down here where no one saw you. So the costs go like this. Maybe the first click, and here's how it can be, especially for big campaigns. First click might be like $74, and then the next one will be like 58. Then the next one will be like 42, and the next one will be like 36, and the next one will be like 28. And that's exactly the point. As you get those clicks versus impressions, it's your CTR, click-through rate goes up, quality score goes up, call costs drop. Okay. But again, a lot of our trick in the beginning is climbing on our way there. Okay. So it's a necessary evil. So that's never going to change. Okay. You may as well get the campaigns whenever you're ready because it won't change. But you're going to want to own these campaigns because right now that we've come this far, we're basically there. We're probably able to make like 90% of these campaigns profitable. And so that's how close we are now. Having said that, for those of you that want to be along for the ride for multiple positions, if you don't want to get into AdWords, what do you want to get into? Owning the assets, right? The actual positions in the system as an LPE owner. So if you haven't done it yet, how do you do it? Okay, like how do you get these positions? Because right now we're making them 50% off for all the shared positions because it's the last week before Christmas. I just want to make the point. Format, font, 48 say. Okay, sign up here, right there. Okay, sign up there. GetTrialLeads.com/LPE for landing page expansion. Okay, it'll only take you a couple of minutes or so to sign up, just to show you what that looks like anyway. Okay. What? First, last name, email address, phone, country, address, city, state, zip code. That's it. That's it. That's all you need to do to sign up. Inside the system, there's more stuff you can edit in your information. You can add like a Skype, PayPal, so that we can go doing your payouts for your 20% on all profitable campaigns running off of your end. To log in, just go here to the admin link and log in as an LPE owner, right? Log in. And then you can choose what you want to get. You will see this page, but you won't have any holdings yet. You can go to LPE websites and you can decide what you want to get. You can check out the links, see what these things look like, and do whatever you want. And then just say, I want to get that, or both, whatever you want to do. Okay? And again, it doesn't really matter what you get other than pay attention to your tier, because later you can swap for another position of the same tier. Everything in the same tier costs the same, right? All tier 4s are $100. Okay? If they're shared tier 4, $100. Okay? There are dedicated tier 4s. They're not $100, of course. Dedicated means the entire nation. Dedicated tier 4 right now, $9.95. Okay? The shared positions are half off. Dedicated is the same. But I will say this. These are hugely valuable. Now, I've had somebody ask, what's the difference between tiers? Okay, we covered a lot of that in earlier videos, right? Tiering affects organic rank, not AdWords, not directly anyway. So, tiering means how many backlinks, right? Tier 2's backlink tier 1. Tier 3's backlink tier 2. Tier 4's backlink tier 3's, which backlink tier 2's, which backlink tier 1's. So the reason tier 1s are more expensive is because it has the payment for bigger backlinks built into it. Okay, that's why tier 1's more expensive than tier 2. That's why tier 2's more expensive than tier 3. Tier 3 more than 4, 4 more than 5. Okay, 5 is the asset with no backlinks. Okay, but we do stick a few backlinks in there anyway, because we want to catch up the whole process. But it's not nearly as powerful as a 4, which is not nearly as powerful as a 3, etc. Okay. Now, with everyone backlinking you on the way up, it pulls you up in rank. You can get organic results. You can show up for either longer tail, medium tail, short tail keywords. The higher in tiers you go, the more spread you get out of it. Okay, especially with the layered backlinking that we're doing right now. All right, now for AdWords, basically no effect at all. If you want to get in right now and get started right now, and you say, all I've got is $100, then get a tier 4 $100 position. Sure, just do it. Get in, get ready, get going, because these industries are totally profitable. We're just learning as we go. The ones we haven't done yet, but they're still going to be profitable, towing. Why do we know towing will be profitable? Because I already got the inside scoop from my millionaire mentor. Towing has very few competitors. The guys who are in there are making a mint just selling the leads to towing companies. Okay, towing. Soon as we start getting those leads, then that should be a real quick hump followed by locking in some deals. Um, Distressed homes. That's fun because we have to figure out how to reach all the reps, right, across the nation, but totally profitable. Totally profitable. By the time we spent $500, we lined up 2K in sales, right? So doing this with a lot of companies across the nation, even if we're splitting the profits half and half with the reps who are running around like mad, they will pay. It makes sense to them too. Probably, and this is something we learned, the most expensive campaign that we have up here is actually not distressed homes. It's lawyer, DUI. Those guys are competitive for every next sale. So they are running around like crazy and those bids get high, right? So DUI has the highest barrier to entry, but it's so easy to turn a profit, and you can understand why. I understood it the moment I heard that first obvious call from a guy who got a DUI. Timid, nervous, ready to do whatever it takes. And I thought, yep, that's all the DUI guys who call in. They're all scared to death. They're listening. First person to treat them professionally and can, tell them, hey, we're on your side. We don't give up. And they aren't going away. They're going to say how much. The answer is 2,100. And they're going to be like, okay. And the lawyer's going to be like, great. The lawyer's going to spend like 500. Okay, leave 1,600 profit per lead. And they're going to convert not 1 in 5, not even 1 in 3. They're going to convert 1 in 2 calls. Okay, it's going to take like 2 calls. Right? So there's huge money in that. Okay, I just want to make that point clear. All these are different that way. All right. Pest control. We can get clicks left and right. Okay, we just got to figure out who needs top off leads versus who needs us to do a lot of leads for them so that we can really get them committed to paying a check of profit. Because when those guys drive around, they have a limited number of houses they can hit per day. So they have a really limited amount of profit they make per day. Okay. And so do they want to give us a chunk of it? If they need us to give them a chunk of it, if they want us to top them off almost for fun, well, not fun, but just, marginal profit, then they probably don't want to pay us half. But the guys who are hurting are more than happy to because they need a program. They don't even know where to start. So we're learning how to vet everyone in. So by vetting them in, get rid of the negative keywords that are in our way, competitor keywords and stuff, and finish this process that we have, then this is totally amazing. Now, final thing, we started contacting some of the guys for getting them on weeklies, and the answer has been pretty consistent. This is a really good idea. Let's, discuss it after Christmas. It's like, okay, I get it. It's Christmas time. Everyone's trying to wrap up their last stuff. They're trying to get their shopping done. They're trying to get their stuff figured out for who they're going to see first, second, third. I get it. It's just that close to Christmas, okay? So everything's going to probably stay on pause till we're done with Christmas because no one's really going to want to keep looking. We don't want Christmas to throw off the results. If we get a lot of weird Christmas keywords, like somebody looking for a police car throws off a DUI campaign, I don't know why. Kids are looking for things for their brothers and sisters, clicking the weirdest ads they see. So we don't want strange stuff to happen, and it can happen. But anyway, so we're probably going to pause till maybe let's say 27th, and then we'll probably kick back on for a couple days and pause for New Year's Eve, or maybe we won't. I guess we will, probably will, just for the heck of it, because no one will watch for a day or two, right? Everyone will be kind of hungover. But then come the 2nd, we're going to be right back in the game. So I will say this. It is all of you who've been paying for everything that you've been paying for in our system that's made everything possible. We are on the verge of just guaranteeing you income streams constantly in 2018. We're on the verge of having campaigns that we put up on the billboard for the LPE or the hours funders just to snatch, and they're simply going to all become profitable. I'd say right now, we're not going to turn on hours campaigns again for a few days. So instead of focusing on that, you probably should focus on picking up some assets, some more assets. Garage door repair is virtually a go. Pest control, we can just see it. That's so easy now that we understand what we're doing with that. And they'll be easy to do shared. Garage door will be easy to do shared. We see that. Distressed homes, we just got to figure out what we're doing to get through to reps. If you're buying in there, you're buying a little more long term because it'll take a little longer to figure that out. Lawyer DUI, those of you coming in with larger chunks of money, well, no, not if you're buying the positions in the system. Just go ahead and get them. And again, for those of you that have these positions, like I said, we made it possible now for whatever holdings you have, you can go ahead and swap anything out that's not active yet, okay? For whatever industry you want. So those of you that feel like swapping around, go ahead. Lawyer DUI, of course, is going to have fewer people getting into it because it's got a higher dollar in to get that kicked off. So just take it into consideration. But those of you who want to be available for that when it hits, totally worth it. By the way, all of this is going to move very fast starting in 2018. It's going to move fast. And I will say the pool parts installer is going to be great for getting into AdWords. So it's also going to be great right now for picking up shares in. Get these things, okay? Get whatever you can, whatever you want. Get the shared positions now. They're 50% off on all tiers, all shared positions. Everything open in the system, okay? So you can get 2 for the price of 1 right now. So you can pick up 2 industries if you want. And again, you can swap them later to keep up. If one of them takes off, you can swap the other one over to match it, right? Another big state in the same industry to catch that wave as it's picking up. All right. Yeah, I don't know what to say. We're only doing the progressive refinement of the details of making sure the leads coming in get vetted and that we don't use competitor keywords so that there's no confusion on the clicks, no more sorry, wrong number, okay? So then basically all these campaigns are going to be really profitable, and we're just going to fly across the nation with these things. So we will cover you all in the process. We'll make sure to let you know where to go next, okay? Get in, get rolling. Those of you who are spending more in the system, right? That's another reason you want to put in. We're thinking about you. We can see from our end how much money everyone's put in the system, right? That's one great thing about Get Trial Leads is we don't lose track of people. We know where everyone is. We know who to get a hold of first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and just say, hey, here's something you want to do next. Here's something you want to do next. How far can you go? How far can you go? Okay, just take everyone along. There's plenty of room. Again, let me refresh. For anyone who says, will somebody buy it all up? No way. There are 2,000 metro areas times, what do we have now? 14 industries? That's 20,000 AdWords campaigns to run, okay? No one's going to pick them all up. There's room for everyone, okay? Just get it. All right. By getting in again, that's cool. It just helps us do more stuff that gets you there. That's how we take care of getting the cold callers set up. That's how we take care of the training that we do. That's how we take care of our vetting processes, because all these are man hours. They have to be accounted for. And you guys are making this possible. A lot of it is by buying the assets that exist right now. Okay, you just make it possible for us to make the system better. And it's a public owned system. You guys, by funding it and letting us just organize what you're funding, we have grown to this point where we are really just about there for all of you. So thank you. This has been an incredible year. 2017 has really been an incredible year. And 2018, I'm sure we're all going to get rich. Not going to be many more updates because it's going to go quiet in the back end. It's just going to be marketing. And this thing's going to probably feel underground. It's going to be mostly just word of mouth, people getting in. So don't lose track of it. Okay. You take care. And if I don't speak to you before then, you have a great Christmas. And yeah, we'll be back at this soon. All right. Thank you very much for your support and your patience and just helping us grow this thing. This is really something. All right. Take care.